Hey there, everybody. This is Kristin from Teaching Balance, and I am here with you with this week's mindfulness meditation practice. And we are in the month of self acceptance. Really, really like this theme. I know that even though I talk about things like this a lot, I believe that I talk about it because I think not only is it a big need in my own life, but I see it everywhere I go in others. And I honestly, one thing that comes to mind for me, particularly since we're now just on the other side of the turn of the new year and all this resolution stuff, um, there's just so much pressure to try to aspire to being something that we perceive that we are not. So, I mean, you know what I'm talking about. I don't need to give you the laundry list. But it's just a lot of that. And of course, a lot of that is advertising, trying to get you to, buy something that is going to make you, X, fill in the blank. So, of course, we're exposed to that with a lot of frequency and it's reinforced. And therefore, I think it's very, very helpful for us to be reminded of the value of self acceptance. Now, we went a little more micro last week where we just talked about acceptance of who we are in the moment of meditation, who we are as a meditator right now, and not just at this like perceived level of skill, but also like that session, whatever session, whatever sit, just being profoundly accepting of your, meeting yourself wherever you are at. And now I want to just expand it a little bit and talk a little bit about the idea of self-acceptance. Now, I just addressed the whole idea of, that there's lots of advertisers and people out there that are trying to get you to, buy the next big thing that's somehow going to make you feel better about yourself, I guess. I'm not, you know what I'm talking about. But that is a constant, if you're even remotely dialed into the world around us. And acknowledging that is really helpful. But when I promote this concept of profound self-acceptance, I also would like to clarify that I am not saying that self-acceptance is about like just giving up, like not about being static, not about stagnating, none of those things. I'm a massive fan of personal growth and reflective, thought and, trying to grow and evolve as a person. And I also think that when we bring a quality of self-acceptance coupled with some gentle aspirations towards evolving, growing, etc., that those two things can go hand in hand. And by being more accepting of ourselves, we can make that progress in a way that is actually much more fruitful and much more kind to ourselves. And, I think I said it with fruitful, like productive, like being softer and kinder and more accepting of ourselves, toward ourselves, allows us to grow in a way that is actually, in my opinion, much more authentic, much more about what really feels right to you, what really resonates for you at this point in your life. The stuff that's a little bit more grounded, that's deeper, more rooted in things that are real and important and not just, six-pack abs or something like that. So that's really my invitation to you this week, is to really explore the ways that self-acceptance can nourish us and support us and hold us in a way that feels very soft and kind, so that we have the scaffolding, to use, an educational term, from which we can continue to grow and evolve. So self-acceptance is not about giving up and not trying and not growing and stagnating. It is, in fact, a very powerful tool to make those choices and to head in a direction that feels authentic and true, and to help you, get you there, perhaps with a little bit more, I'm really reaching for a word. I'm just going to say that gets you there in a way that's less painful. Okay, there you go. That's my word for you. So let's go ahead and do our 10-minute meditation now. We already talked about last week this idea of self-acceptance in the meditation itself, so I don't want to belabor that point. However, I think that there's value to having it underscore all of our practices. So I will maybe see if it naturally arises, but nonetheless, of course, that everything we do on the cushion expands outward into our world off the cushion. So bringing in that quality of self-acceptance while we're sitting helps us, I think, to more spontaneously bring that quality of self-acceptance to ourselves. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Closing your eyes or lowering your gaze, whatever feels right to you in this moment. If you have your eyes slightly open, if you've never gotten any guidance on that, typically what's often suggested is that you just rest your eyes downward, perhaps some neutral spot, typically about 6-ish or so feet out in front of you. But trusting yourself that whatever you decide to rest your attention on will be where it needs to be. Allowing yourself to find that upright but not rigid posture. And also just a reminder, you're more than welcome to do these meditations lying down at any point. And if you are lying down, I'm going to encourage you to find that quality of alignment, whether you're on the floor or a mat or the bed. Just allow your body to have a sense of emulating what the upright posture is like. So longer spine, letting those shoulders really drop behind you. And I also like, when I'm laying down meditation, I like to turn my palms upward if that's not too uncomfortable. Just a little bit different than lying down to sleep. Just as we touched on last week, letting go of any expectations or hopes regarding how you'd like this to be. And even on that rare occasion when you feel like you're just crushing your meditation, acknowledging that that sense is also a bit of an evaluation and a thought. And that, just like any other thought, allow yourself to notice it and then turn your attention back to where we are, which is whatever anchor you've decided to rest on. I'm finding myself very much drawn to sounds these days, but you can choose the breath or body sensations. Because sounds have a quality of externalness, you may find yourself getting pulled into telling yourself the story about the sound, wondering about the sound, maybe even judging the sound. One sound is pleasant, but another one is unpleasant. And if you find yourself in that situation, just remembering that all of those stories and judgments are just more thoughts. and you can see them for what they are. You don't have to push them away. If anything, sometimes it's helpful to look more closely at them before you inevitably, gently and firmly turn your attention back to whatever is the anchor of your awareness right now. Checking in, noticing if the mind has wandered into recollection, forward thinking, storytelling. And if so, just once again, bringing it back to this moment, to being present to how things are, accepting however this practice is for you in this moment. And then allow yourself to once again settle back in for the final couple of minutes of this practice until you hear our final bell. face was very itchy. I don't know why. That's our 10 minutes. So I feel like I kind of made the point that I wanted to make as we continue on this exploration of self-acceptance. Just keeping in mind, it's not about giving up. It's not about throwing up your hands and, saying F it. It's a supportive way to hold yourself with gentleness and kindness as you continue to grow and evolve and follow whatever path you choose to follow. So as always, thank you so much for taking this time for yourself, and thank you for allowing me to accompany you on this journey, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.